All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is a dark day here at Thor News. And I want to mention again, I don't believe in either political party. I think the last president we had was JFK, and his brains got splattered all over his wife. That was his reward for trying to take on the military-industrial complex, and it's safe to say he lost. And so I don't see the Paris Climate Accord as some thing that would have saved the climate or changed the weather or technically made everything better. So what I was looking for today was basically his tone, his attitude. I'm talking about President Trump. And I had a feeling he was going to pull out of the Paris climate, but knowing what I know, and I say this as someone who's covered the weather relentlessly for a year now. I mean, I've been covering it for 4 years, but I've just been obsessed with it for like a year. That makes me very, very, very sad, because he talked way longer than I thought he would, and he kept talking about jobs. He kept talking about jobs. All I could think was, well, I guess people will have jobs fishing people out of the water, like bodies, put them in body bags. Because, I don't know, the precipitation rates are like 200% over normal. It's like the earth is tilted, and so all the weather systems are totally changing. And I want to remind you guys that water is heavy. So it's like, if you have clothes on and you get wet, your clothes are going to be heavier than when they were dry. The same thing with, like, take 10 feet of dirt, weigh it, and then pour a bunch of water in that dirt. That's a whole lot more weight. So we're going to be seeing landslides and earthquakes and floods. It almost seems like a major collusion that the situation is going on with the Mississippi River and the floods and all the destroyed infrastructure that I have seen. Like, I'll have to go back and compile it all. But literally all the bridges I've seen torn down, like the giant bridge that connects Big Sur to California. Like, I've seen so much infrastructure destruction in the last 6 months that I would guess the United States could pay, home totals and everything, $1 trillion, $500 billion in insurance claims. And I think we learned with AIG in 2008 that they're probably not going to have a collateral back, so that when all these people are putting claims in, at some point, I'm pretty sure the insurance companies are going to be belly up and turning back to the government with their hands out. So this is really sad for me, because it's basically, I don't know what to do. Like, my whole theory here has been to try and work to be a bridge between the power and the people, and that we're all in this together. And well, today it's like, no, we're not. That the military-industrial complex and the major oil players, and probably some of the richest families on the planet, know what's going on, and they're going to go in their underground bunkers when the shit hits a fan. And it seems like they're just going to let like 6 or 7 billion people die. And that'll never work. Like, I don't even want to get into the, like, I don't know. What the funny thing was is when I went to NASA that one day, God, that day was depressing too. They had like a Lockheed Martin guy and a Raytheon guy and a Boeing guy. And so I'd go up to him and I'd say, hey, who would win in a fight, in a war between Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Boeing? You know, a lot of people are like, whoa, you can't ask that. No, don't ask that. No, why are you asking that? And then, of course, you know, if the guy worked for Raytheon, he'd say Raytheon. If the guy worked for Lockheed Martin, he'd say Lockheed Martin. And the guy worked for Boeing, he'd say Boeing. That was the whole point I was trying to express. Like, you got to, like, let's imagine, like, there are 12 of the richest families on the planet, and they all have $1 trillion. Man, they have been sinking a lot of money into weaponry, drones, nanobots, private armies. And so when the shit hits a fan, they're going to go through a power vacuum. You know, so when they try to reestablish society, I'm sure they would have some type of prearranged agreements, but all these people aren't going to be ready to just go underground and stay underground. They're going to lose a lot of people. The suicide, madness, and then the very money structures that would, you know, keep them on the top and us all doing their bidding, that's going to be totally gone. Like, everything's going to be totally rearranged and different. And so every time I've imagined it, and we're talking 20 years, my brain has been showing me this shit. If you don't believe me, I wrote a movie about it like 12 years ago. It's a $400 million action film where the greatest samurai of all time comes back to duel the devil. Anywho, and so, you know, it'll basically break down into like the top 3 or 4 families or slash military contractors will have like some all-out fucking drone war or like nanobot. Like, it's just going to be ugly. Like, if they're going to turn their backs on 7 billion people, basically say, hey, we'll sacrifice you guys so we can make it. I just never, you know, in all my envision, it doesn't work. So I think we had the same scenario on Mars, that thing battled as Marineris. If you look at it, it's like the middle of the planet popped. And I think that's when Mars lost its atmosphere, because the same shit happened, man. We got to the same point where it's like, okay, we can either all get along as one Earth family, solve our problems, and learn to live together without slavery or torture, or we can end in total war. And so, you know, I don't know, it's just a feeling I got today. It was like, because, you know, if you are a conservative or Republican, like, the fact that, you know, I didn't like Hillary Clinton, but most people don't like Hillary Clinton. The fact that they even ran Hillary Clinton against Trump shows that it was like in the bag the whole time, man. Like, Hillary Clinton has one of the lowest likability ratings of any politician out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, she's one of the least liked politicians out there. So for them to run her against Trump was basically saying, like, dude, the cat was in the bag the whole time. You know? And so they basically handed it to Trump. And then, so who does he pick as his Secretary of State? A guy who left college, went to work for Exxon Mobil, or Exxon now. I think he worked there 44 years, and then he became Secretary of State. So here's the thing, like on Twitter and on, you know, YouTube, when, you know, guys like Alex Jones and what is the other guy who's like, who was fighting the Illuminati, but is also really freaking successful. You know, and that's another thing. Like, I Googled Alex Jones. It says that dude has made $30 million fighting the Illuminati. Right? Fighting the globalists and the Illuminati. That mofo made $30 million. And that was like 5 years ago. And he can afford a giant studio, and he can send like a 5-man team to the Bilderberg thing. And the only thing that's going to happen, he's going to get there and be like, oh my God, they kicked us out. Those damn globalists. So, man, literally, I think, I don't know, I made like 35 videos last month. I made $250 from YouTube. And so, how Mark Dice and Alex Jones are living so freaking comfortably fighting the Illuminati, the globalists, man. You know, I don't know. You can piece that together. But what I'm trying to say is, like, oh, what was I trying to say? Huh. Anyway, just to, I don't know, I guess everybody is going to be talking about, like, it's a great deal. Like Mark Dice is like, I'm drinking the Tears of Liberals. This is the greatest day. And there's the guy Cernovich is like, oh my God, you know how we did something great? It's because if the verified liberals on Twitter hate it, that means we did something good. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Oh yeah, that was my point. So Trump, his head Secretary of State was the Exxon guy. So this is just like George W. Bush all over again with Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld. Where Halliburton's like, here's what we're going to do. We are going to invade Iraq. Even though 18 of the terrorists who supposedly were involved in 9/11 came from Saudi Arabia, we went and invaded Iraq, right? So everybody's freaking out over Hillary Clinton and Benghazi and Seth Rich. I'm not saying that she didn't cause that or that didn't happen. But hey, man, if we are not going after Donald Trump, George W. Bush, if we're not going after Rumsfeld, Cheney, and Bush for invading Iraq under basically totally false motherfucking pretenses, then people should just shut up about going after Hillary Clinton because it is a waste of time and it's a waste of energy. Because the last statistics I saw were like 300,000 Iraqis died during all that. And it's been chaos since we disrupted. Like, yes, Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, but he ruled over a bunch of warlords. So he used an iron fist to rule over them. And so they at least had some semblance of a working society when he was there. We took him out and spent $4.5 trillion doing it. And they didn't have a single damn thing to do with 9/11. So I'm just saying, like, it's weird to watch. Like, I'm in the middle. So it's weird to watch. You know, Barack Obama is freaked out when he made everybody get health care, but didn't put in any price controls on health care. And then I was super freaked out at the spending, because it's been, you know, I don't know, what, $12 trillion, you know? And so to have the left at the time be all like, oh my God, he hasn't made any mistakes, he's perfect. And I'm like, no, he's spending way too much money. And as a Nobel Prize winner, he's the drone striking king of history. And so, you know, now coin flips and the Republicans are like, oh my God, Trump is a great Christian. He does what Jesus wants. And whatever he does is right. And it's like, oh, what? Dude, you know, I tried to reserve all judgment. You know, he put in the Exxon guy. He was like, no, fuck marijuana. You know, we're going to go after those criminals. I was like, oh, God. And then, now, you know, and he's serious about the Mexico wall. And now, like today, he gets out and he pulls out of the climate thing. And so it's like, man. And he's talking jobs. I don't know, over the last 10 years, I've gotten to talk to a lot of pretty powerful, pretty high up there people in all different fields, man. And one of the things they're really worried about is that at some point, the robots or automation, they're going to have a billion people laid off. You know, like over a 10-year span. Eventually, they're going to phase out most jobs. Which will be fine and you can handle it. We have enough resources for pretty much everything out there. False scarcity economics is a fucking lie. Sorry for cussing so much. I'm just, like I said, I'm dark taste, man. No, I didn't even hit the thing. He's just been staring at one thing the whole time. I'm sorry about that. And so, for him to be like, jobs, you know, like, I don't know, that's a damn lie, man. You know, they know we've reached peak jobs and now it's going down and they got serious problems, and it's just super apparent to me now that, you know, that the bigwigs, they don't give a shit. They're not going to let you know there's a sun baby. They're not going to let you know their poles are flipping out. They're going to let you know when the big earthquakes are. Like, no offense to Dutch and SO, who I think do some pretty dang great work with earthquakes. If those two chaps can figure it out, I guarantee you that NASA and the ESA and like all those science people. They figured it out. They just don't want to tell you. So the fact that they can just take all this wonderful information and not tell us, even though we pay for it, everything's off the rails. Like the idea that we're still on the petroleum combustion engine after 145 years. Like, I mean, think of how much your phone has improved in 15 years. You went from having a cord on the wall to like now you have more power in your iPhone than the space shuttle had, or the one that went to the moon. You know, like, I don't know. It really feels like it's very anti-human. The last 15 years has been very anti-human. And I know a lot of people don't put any stock in what Nostradamus said, but he said in 1999, terror would rain from the sky, and after, Mars would reign. And Mars is war, fear, terror, madness. Dude, so since, 1999 to like now, it has just been a shit show that slides down a hill into a bunch of like spikes and radioactivity. And so, at times, like I said, dude, this is, whatever this agenda is, it's very anti-human being. And I've tried to like pin it on somebody, and it seems like Mars. Because if you get into the Hoagland stuff where it was like they were getting signals from Mars, so they went to go find the chip. You got to watch the Hoagland video on it. It's pretty fascinating. But after that, the tech boomed, and we now got the little monolith iPhones. And so what I'm just trying to say is it's like we're being controlled and farmed by planet Mars. And if you look at it, like Trump's crap is named Mars-a-Go-Go or Mars-a-Logo. Like, and so, it's either it feels like either we're at the point where, man, the richest of the rich in the military industrial complex and the super Exxon board are just going to they built their little paradise underground, and they're going to let 7 billion people die. Or Mars is just going to farm the whole planet, and if they're a reptilian, they're way more comfortable in hotter temperatures, I think. And so, that's like they're literally making the earth hotter so it'll be more comfortable for them to live on. And other than our earth women, and I guess the extremely attractive men, they'll let everybody else die, because whatever's going on with our North Pole, our South Pole, and the sun, and the weather patterns, like, I don't see the weather calming down anytime soon. It gets back me to this infrastructure. Like, government can spend $100 million fixing 12 potholes in a highway. Never improve the highway. They just keep putting in really expensive potholes in. So now, man, I go through so much footage. I wish I either had more people on my team. Like, if I had Alex Jones's team, I feel like I could kick CNN's ass. Anyway, but that I've just seen so much damage, destruction, and it's like, what is it? North Carolina, Matthew. Like, supposedly there's still like 100 roads and highways in North Carolina. Like, there are parts of North Carolina that are not going to recover from that. All this flooding we're seeing, there are going to be parts that aren't going to recover. And so, I don't know, man. It's just like the idea that a very tiny group is going to sacrifice the rest of us when we could all solve it together and have a much, much better quality of life for everybody. It just, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm broke as fuck, man. Now, I've given my all this damn channel. And today just felt like a giant loss. And nobody listens. I mean, you guys do, but you're very rare, And so, I don't know what to do. And like I said, I feel like today it made everything way more dangerous for me. Because I've been trying to frame it like, dude, we're all in this together. We can only do this together. And then they basically like threw down the gauntlet. Like, not only is this administration stripping NOAA of their We're not talking climate change. We're talking weather, like satellites, weather coverage, NextRad, all that stuff. So same time that they're pulling out of working with other countries on the weather problems we're having, they're stripping the weather stuff, the weather organizations, and then he's going on and complaining about stuff every day. So it's like, I don't know. I will make a bet that by the end of 2018, we will see a major city underwater. Whether it be New York, Los Angeles, Houston, we will see a major city go underwater in America and not return to non-water city. So, so now that I really feel like, whether it be Martians or just the super rich or the military-industrial complex, now that I'm 95% sure they have absolutely no intention of working with people or trying to save people, I feel like doing what I do just got a whole lot more dangerous, because literally it's like I have to figure out how to be like, okay, people, man, these people are willing to flush us down the toilet. No problems, no second thoughts. Even though it's not going to work for them, apparently they're far too arrogant. They think because they made $1 billion over, a 50-year span, or because their family had inherited the bank and just passed it down, kept it in the family forever, that because they were great at making $1 billion off charging people 23% interest on their credit card and student loans, that they're going to be able to pull off some grand transition above ground, underground, whatever. Like, as someone who has empathy, I can't even, the signal, the energy signal that would go out when that many people die, like, that's going to fry people's brains right there. Like, you wouldn't, like, I don't know. Anyway, so, like I said, this isn't about Republican or Democrat or even the, like, Paris Accord. This is about the major signals, the major signs of, like, we have major problems that are getting worse. And I have no clue what the hell is going on. Another weird thing is that I think, as someone who got into this because I was worried of hyperinflation and lawlessness, I watched the national debt clock stuck in $19,845 billion. It's been stuck there for like 8 months, dude. Literally, just stuck there, and nobody says anything. So I don't want to say anything. I think how many times I see something like, shit, I wish somebody else would talk about this. I don't want to be the first to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's I don't know, man. So, I think we'll bounce back, and we haven't lost all hope. I'm just saying everything just got a lot more complex, especially for me. Now, I think that either it would take a stock market crash, and the Republicans might, like, more Republicans might jump ship, but it really seems like they're just like, dude, we love Donald Trump no matter what he does. Like, if Donald Trump nukes half the country, we're going to be like, you deserved it, jerks. But I think if the stock market crashed, the hardcore people could abandon him. Like, I don't know if you remember Iraq, but, like, clearly, in the last year or two of George Bush's presidency, Iraq was a total mistake. And so a lot of Republicans were like, but you didn't get a lot of people jumping off ship. So I don't even know if, you can't even get a lot of those people today to admit that it was a mistake. They're like, oh yeah, they had nothing to do with 9/11, and then we went and spent $4.5 trillion invading them. But you didn't know, And so, I don't know, if the stock market crashes, or if we see a major city underwater, I really think the tide could turn on Trump, and maybe then we would have a chance to be like, you know what, we all need a new system. But that's hard for me to visualize and hold on to today, because I don't know. like I said, the flood levels are bad, and it's going to take one superstorm, and we're going to see 33% of our country go underwater. And hell, like I've said before, I'm scared of the middle of the country caving in. All you got to do is trace the BP oil spill straight to the Oklahoma earthquake epicenter up the Great Lakes, man. And that's where a lot of the rain is going. And the Mississippi's been way too heavy and way too full. So, I haven't given up all hope, but, you know, today was a big spiked kick in the balls to me. So I call it like I see it, and I tell you the truth. So that's how, you know, that's how I feel. You don't have to agree with anything or whatever, man. And so, you know, that's just how I feel. And another funny, hilarious thing, it's not really that hilarious, but Mexico's been getting its ass kicked by the storms and floods, Venezuela, Brazil. But, so the storms have been ravaging and flooding out a lot of the places exactly where Trump would be putting the wall. See, the idea that we were literally losing, I would say at this point, I don't know, maybe $100 billion in infrastructure. You know, the Oroville Dam alone cost $275 million, and it's not even fixed yet. So, to think that we need to spend all this money to rebuild and refortify all of our infrastructure, excuse me, and the main thing he is focused on is building a wall to keep Mexicans out. That is ridiculous. And then the idea that, like, a lot of the place where the wall will go is totally flooded and will continue to flood and will probably be underwater. So you're going to have to get all the water out to put the wall in. You know, it just seems clear to me they have no plan for us. And that makes me sad, man. That makes me sad. And so, you know, Mars scores another giant touchdown in the divide and conquer game. And people aren't even discussing it right. They're like, and science totally dropped the ball the whole time. You know, it's under Obama. They got in our face and was like, God doesn't exist. You caused climate change. You did the carbon, man. And like they did that for 5 years and just yelled at us while we're going to work and coming back. We're home, we're tired. They're like, you caused climate change. You got to pay for it. We're like, what? Shut up. They don't even make no sense. And what the hell? How's a carbon tax going to fix anything? You know? So, science, you take part of the blame too. And I'll take, you know, shit ton of the blame. I should have been way cooler, smarter, and somehow redirected this 10 years ago. So, that, you know, accept the failure. But, I don't know. It's a dark day, man. So, if you can, got any extra bucks, you want to throw them to Thor News, I'll put the link at the top thingy, man, because I'm just saying, I'm broke, and I'm getting my ass kicked and getting paid less and less by YouTube every day, so it's like, I don't know, why am I even doing this anymore? Shit's gonna flood bad in a lot of places. So, and like I said, I feel it's dangerous. The warnings I get a lot of time are about weather. You know, like, we would prefer it if you'd stop talking about the weather and talk about other shit. And I'm like, nope, can't do saving lives here, buddy. Instead of talking about like black holes 7,000 light years away, I'd rather talk about places that might get super flooded, just so, you know, if I can save one life or get more people prepared to what we have to deal with, that seems way more better use of my time. And so, you know, the fact is, being super broke, like, I basically super broke and have to beg people online for money. So what girls want to date me? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, the thing I want most is a good girlfriend. And it's like, shit, by doing this, I've put myself in a position to where no girlfriend would want to date me. So, I don't know, man. You know, it's a dark day. I'll bounce back. And I don't know. I'm just saying, crap, dude. Like, to me, it just seemed like a major blow. Like I said, I never saw the Paris deal as like some thing that would save everybody or save everything. But